So it is the end of May. It is time to start thinking about what am I going to read in June. So let's play the TBR games. So we play the Around the World TBR game and then my TBR wheel and figure out what books I'm going to read in June. Hi, my name is Jeanette and I want to thank you for joining me on the channel Jane Reads. So today we are planning I am planning my June TBR. I have two priorities this month. One is I need to read some of my physical TBR books. I kind of went on a little book buying spree in May and my shelves are full. So I want to get some of those down. But in relation to that, I also want to make sure I am reading some of the books that are on my bingo board so that I can get some lines done. There's only 5 books in a line, and we are now 5 months into the month, or to the year, and I have not finished a line yet. I need to work on that. I need to improve that. So, can I get some of those books read, and can I get some of these books read? I hope so. So, before we start, let's recap May. So for May, for my Around the World game, I landed on the suitcase prompt. And I ended up with the book Dead Lawyers Tell No Tales by Randy Singer. I have read that book. It was actually the last book I read of my 6 books on my TBR. And it was different. I enjoyed it and then I didn't enjoy it. But the ending shocked me. So my review, my full thoughts on this book will be posted at my end of the month review. So that will be coming on the 5th of June. Then my first wheel spin gave me a new to me author. So I read The Lady in the Lionheart by Joanne Bishkoff. I have read that one and my thoughts on that book are included in the mid-month video, so I'll link that video below. Then my next spin gave me an author A to Z, and then it landed on B. So I read The Extraordinary Deaths of Mrs. Kipp by Sarah Brunswold. Again, I've already read that book, and that was included in my mid-month. Then the next spin was the highest rated on my Goodreads, and that was The Christmas Kiss by Shanna Hatfield. Again, I've read that one, and that's included in my mid-month wrap-up. Then spin number 4 for book number 5 was newest on my TBR, and that was Half-Witted by Christy Barrett. Read it, it's included in my mid-month wrap-up. And the last book, so my last spin was a library book. So I did a library vlog of me choosing a book from my church library, and I have read that book. And that vlog, hopefully, I don't know, it may be the video that's up right before this one or right after this one. If it's already up, I will link it. If it's not up, because it might be going up tomorrow instead, I'm not sure yet. But if it's not already up and I don't have it linked, it will be coming very, very soon. So keep an eye out for that one. So those are the 6 books. So I have read all 6 books. Yay me! I mean, I normally do finish my TBR, but I'm still, that's 6 books, more books I got off my TBR. And I've actually read a couple extra that were not included on my TBR, so I've had a good reading month. And my full thoughts on all the books that I've read will be either in that mid-month video that's already posted or will be coming at the end of the month wrap-up that I do. Okay, so the prompts that I need to take off my spinner wheel are a new to me author, author A to Z, highest rated, newest on TBR, and library prompt. Wow, that's a lot of prompts taken off that I would be okay with they stayed. Do I just keep them on again? I normally take them off so that they have options for new prompts, but I don't know. I mean, I really liked most of these prompts, so I'm going to keep them on. I am going to keep them on, and if I get them again, I get them again. Okay, but before we get to the wheel, it is time to play one round of the game board around the world. So I need to move over to my tabletop so I can play and see what happens. Okay, so I've got my little bus, and the post-it is where I left off last time, and I've got the dice. So I can't finish the board because that would be 7, and my dice doesn't do a 7. So let's see what we get. There are a couple that I want, and there's a couple I don't really want, or I'd prefer a couple over a couple other prompts, but we'll see what happens. Number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that is a cloud. Cloud is this. So let's see. Only one. A gifted book. Okay, so my prompt was a gifted book. So that was fairly simple for me because I only have a few gifted books. So I am going to read The Blue Castle by Ella Montgomery. This was gifted to me by Bailey, I think. I'm just going to double check the gift tag to make sure. Yes. So this book was gifted to me by Bailey at Bailey's Bookshelf. So I am going to read this one. And it's from that section of my shelf. So perfect. Okay, so now we need to go to the wheel and spin for book number 2. Goodreads Feed. Ooh, okay. I was concerned about this one, but we'll see. So basically that means I need to open my Goodreads. Okay, so I need to open my Goodreads, and I'm going to scroll down my main feed page, and the first book that I come to that I own, have access to, is the book that I'm going to read. Now, some days I follow, like I look at my feed, and there's no books on there that I own. And other days, there's quite a few. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. As I said, some days there's none. I want to read Fairest to the Heart, but I don't own it. I mean, it's not released yet, and I don't have an advanced reader copy. And I've read that one. Two books I've already read. Oh, I own this one. The Secret Keepers of Old Depot Grocery by Amanda Cox. From what I understand, this is a dual timeline story. And I heard about this from Chantel at Chantel Reads All Day, and she raved about it. So I'm like, I really want to read that. So I picked it up. And it says, present day, Sarah Ashby returns to her childhood home, determined to follow her dream of running the family business alongside her mother and grandmother. So when her mother, Rosemary, announces to her that the Old Depot grocery is closing, Sarah and her grandmother, Glory Ann, make a plan to save the store. But Rosemary has worked her entire life to make sure her daughter never follows in her footsteps. She has her reasons, but she'll certainly never reveal the real one. And then it jumps back to 1965. So yeah, I'm really intrigued, and I really like this cover. Like, I love the subtleness of the cover, the old car, the letters, like, yeah. So that is going to be book number 2. Okay, so let's spin for book number 3. A contemporary romance. Okay, so this really leaves it to me, just as long as that's in that genre. Okay, well, the first thing I want to do is I want to look at my bingo board and see, do I have any contemporary romances on it? Because I said that was kind of my priority. Okay, so I am going to read Pelican Point, which is book number 4 of the Hope Harbor series, because I'm trying to work my way through this series. So this is where I'm at next. So let's add this one. It is set in the town of Hope Harbor, Oregon, and each book in the series follows different characters, but you do see the characters from previous books through, because you're still seeing the town members, right? So yeah, this is the next one I'm going to pick up. Okay, time for the next spin to get book number 4. TBR bingo board. Okay, this will help me get a book off this board. Perfect. Okay, but when this prompt comes up, I have a spinner wheel that goes with it. Now we shuffle 3 times. Okay, what book am I going to read? Okay. I really thought it was going to land on Starfish Pier, and that is much further in this series, so I need to get... Yeah, okay. So, The Sound of Rain. Okay, so The Sound of Rain by Sarah Loudin Thomas. I don't remember ever reading this author before, but when I looked it up a while ago, I had read a novella from her, but apparently it didn't stick in my mind very well, so we're going to give this one a go. My mom has read this and said that she really enjoyed it. It is a historical fiction, and it is set in 1954 in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Interesting. So Judd Markley knows he can never set foot underground again. The mine collapse that nearly killed him and claimed his brother's life means leaving West Virginia forever. Although the hard Appalachian world is all he knows, he puts it behind him and heads for the open sky of the thriving town of 1954 Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Larkin Hayward's life in the beach town is uncomplicated, mostly volunteer work and dancing at the pavilion. But she dreams of one day doing more and being more, maybe moving to the hills and hollers of Kentucky to help the poor children of Appalachia. But she's never even met someone who's lived there until she encounters Judd, the newest employee at her father's timber company. Drawn together in the wake of a hurricane that changes Myrtle Beach forever, Judd's and Larkin's dreams pull them in divergent directions. It will take significant sacrifice to keep them together, or maybe it will take a miracle. Okay, that sounds really interesting, and I really like Kentucky, and I've kind of want to go to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I've heard a lot about it, especially recently. So, yeah, but I'm not a fan of rain. And the thought of a hurricane, no thank you. So, yeah, I am kind of interested, and because my mom's read it and I've heard good things about it, so hopefully. And it's another book off that section. Okay, let's spin for book number 5. Released last year. Okay, so I need to go to my list and find books that were released in 2022. Okay, so I have 2 options. So I have In Honor's Defense by Karen Whitmire. This is book number 3 of the Hanger's Horseman series. It is a historical romance, and I already have I have 2 historical romances and 1 dual timeline already on the out of the 4 books. So I'm not really sure. My other option is The Deadly Shells by Dani Pettrey, which is book number 3 of the Coastal Guardians series. And I have read book 1 of this series. And I might have read book 2, actually. I'm not sure now. But I've definitely read book 1 of both of these series. But this is a romantic suspense. So I think this is the one that's going to go on, because I need something that's not historical, and I need something in my favorite genre, right? So this is book number 3 of a series, so that means I will be looking to add books 1 and 2, or I will try to get to them for sure. Yep, that's the one we're going to do. So what is book number 6 going to be? Let's spin and find out. Okay, released a minimum of 10 years ago. So we go from last year to 10 years. Wow. Okay, so 10 years is 2012, 2013. Wow. I'm still thinking we're in 22. Okay, so I still have my list sorted by release date, so I just need to go back in time now. So anything, ooh, wow. I have a lot of options here. A lot of options. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is look at my bingo board, because that's my priority. I am going to read Breach of Trust by DiAnn Mills. This is book number 1 of the Call of Duty series. It came out in February 2009, and I purchased it on my Kindle in 2014. So it's been sitting there for a while. It's time to read it, right? So let's see what the summary says. Okay. And it's a 2010 Christie Award winner. So, okay, it says that Paige Rogers is a former CIA agent who lost all she treasured 7 years ago when her entire team was killed in a covert mission. She blames their leader, Daniel Curie, whom Paige believes betrayed them. Disillusioned and afraid for her life, she disappeared and started a new life as a small-town librarian. But when Cleary announces his candidacy for governor of her state, he comes after Paige to ensure that she won't ruin his bid for office. He threatens everything she holds dear, and Paige must choose between the life of hiding that has become her refuge or risking everything in one last desperate attempt to right old wrongs. Okay, that really sounds intriguing. Why have I not picked this one up? But I have a lot of reading ahead of me, because that one is a large book. So those are the 6 books. Got one little short one, plus the one on my Kindle. So those are the 6 books that I am going to be reading in the month of June. Really, it's going to be 8 because obviously I'm going to read books 1 and 2 of this series so that I can read 3 because I have never even read 2. So I have to read it before I start this one. So yeah, so that is what I'm going to read. I have heard really good things about really all of them. So it should be a really good reading month. All of these ones anyways. Not so much. I'm not sure about the one on my Kindle, but I must have picked it up for a reason, so maybe I heard good things about it back in 2014. So yes. So, what are you planning on reading for the month of June? Let's chat in the comments below. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And if you like this kind of content and the books I talk about and stuff, I would love it if you would like to and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And for those of you that are already subscribed, thank you. I really appreciate it. Have a good day. Bye.